respect it, protect it, and follow its laws. We should protect nature and preserve the environment like we protect our eyes. Second, we must be committed to green development. Green mountains are gold mountains. To protect the environment is to protect productivity, and to improve the environment is to boost productivity.
Our guest, who's been with us patiently listening in, Svein Tveitdal, a former UN Environment Programme Director, who's attended many of these conferences. I just want to pause for a minute before we talk about the world leaders and their messages, but the importance there of seeing and hearing from Xi Jinping, Svein.
Yes, there was no new commitments from the Chinese president. He just said, as he have said before, that China is going to peak emissions in 2030 and have zero emissions in 2060. And with that path, at least until 2030, China is contributing to, if everybody did like that, to a warming maybe more than 4 degrees. He talked to Kerry a few days ago, and now he talked about the climate crisis, and China is coming. But there had been expectations that after Kerry's visit, there would be some new commitments towards the pledges given to Paris, and I didn't hear that. So an important thing now, not only from China, but from all those countries that are making statements today, is not the general things they are saying, but really what they are committing towards the Paris Agreement. And so far, that has been not so concrete. The US has said that they will reduce emissions 50% by 2030. That is much more than before, and it is okay. It's not sufficient. But the important thing now is to increase the ambitions around the Paris Agreement. So we just have to listen now.
Svein, sorry to interrupt you, because we hear a lot of numbers, a lot of terminology, and some of us are not climate experts. As we listen to these important speeches from world leaders, as you said, Xi Jinping there not delivering the commitment that you were expecting. What are the numbers? What are the pledges that we should be listening out for my audience?
Well, we should be listening to pledges that is in accordance with the 1.5 centigrade goal in the Paris Agreement. And we have analysis of all the countries that are speaking today on the path they already have committed. So the main thing about today is that countries are making more ambitious pledges, and so far probably it's only the US that has done that, and also the UK that has set a very ambitious goal for 2030. And that is what we have to listen to.
Okay, thank you so much for making that clear for us. Now let's talk about climate finance. That's something that the UN Secretary General talked about, and also Narendra Modi. How do you achieve that, especially for the more vulnerable developing nations whose economies have been very hardly hit very badly by COVID?
Yeah, this is a very important issue, and here we might have maybe expected a bit more from Biden, because the world has raised $12 trillion for COVID-19 and have problems with rising 100 billion that they have promised the poor world to adapt and to also help them with the development. So there is a big mismatch here. And I think that the small island development states that might be flooded and be climate refugees and so forth, they will not be satisfied with what they have heard so far.
Very important to hear that. Now, the conference has started. We've heard from a few of the world leaders there. What would you like to see that really moves the debate forward and really brings us, closer to addressing this moral imperative, this crisis, like Biden called it?
The proof of the pudding is reduced emissions. And as long as we don't hear very clear goals and also strategies for implementation of the goals, we are not on a path to solve the climate crisis. But when this is said, I think that and we heard the urgency from the Secretary General in the UN, because he's just saying what the scientists have told us. And the gap between what the scientists have told us and the policy we managed to implement is very, very, very big. And the process now until the Glasgow meeting in November, and it goes from this meeting today, that in this context is very important, through the UN meeting in New York in September and up to Glasgow. So we don't have a very long time to solve the problem. And the good thing now is when you listen now to the general talk from the world leaders, they recognize the problem. They say we have to do something with it, and they are getting more aware and motivated. Also, the voters, they are now more interested in action than they were before. So we see a change here. But so far, this change of attitude, goals, and practical implementation plans are not sufficient to solve the problem. But it is turning around in a positive direction. So far, that is the most positive I think we can say about this meeting today.
Good to hear that there is positivity coming through. Svein,